Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Dr. Feelgood, the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, smooth as a Rolls Royce. Coming to you live from the 571 where I'm having fun and I'm getting things done. Today, I got a special guest. It's a brother from another mother on my other podcast, Tantalizing Talk. I talk about, we have a guy, distinguished brother. He's a financial advisor. And hopefully he keeps everything a little wiser. So if you want to know about money, he's the man. Just waiting on him to come on and come in, and we'll get started in a second. Anyway, what's going on, Apple? Apple's a co-host of mine. She's on YouTube. She's on YouTube Live. I'm also on Facebook Live, and I'm on TikTok Live. How you doing, Poblo? What's going on? What's going on in TikTok land? So I got a lot of things. Going on. I want to talk quickly about this thing with Sean Combs. Yeah, about that. That's woo. Boy, there's a lot of light coming on and a lot of roaches coming out. A lot of stuff that's coming out there. Yeah, it's pretty serious. And the names that are coming out, what is going on with that? How do we get there from here? Ooh, a lot of people, let's put it politely, will not get demonetized. A lot of people got their chimney swept. One alleged partner was Reginald VelJohnson, Carl Winslow from Family Matters, and also in the first Die Hard, he was the police sergeant that was Bruce's contact on the outside. Bruce Willis's character contact on the outside. He's doing what he's doing, and from what I understand, he was doing that for a while. So I don't know how that's gonna go, but I don't think he has an issue with who he is. But there are a lot of people out there, especially in the hip hop world. Unfortunately, that's not unfortunately, because people, you like what you like, but people don't want they stuff out there because it may hurt their brand if they know that if they like man-to-man intimacy. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But in the ultra machismo world of hip hop, that's looked down upon. That's why they were calling people like, a lot of these new guys with the way they were coming out. With the way they were coming out, they would be doing their things, and what they would do is, a lot of these guys coming out, and Lil Nas X, they said he's an industry plant, but hey, pushing an agenda. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Oh, here we go. Right now, I have my guy, distinguished brother. He should be on. I don't see him yet, but he just texted me and said he is on. So if you're in the chat, distinguished brother, let me know so I can bring you forward, bring you up. Let me do this again. Let me try this one. Invite guests. And I will send it to my favorite girl, a chocolate pearl. And also, there's also distinguished brother, the man like no other. Okay, here we go. Okay, but like I was saying, going back to what I was saying, what's going on, Alex 893 in TikTok land? Hey, I got two people. Well, I'm happy for whoever I got, but today I'm talking finances with my man DB, the distinguished brother, one like no other, and waiting for him to come in. And I'm bringing you up, Chocolate Pearl. Are you driving?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Today I was talking about today I got distinguished brother from Tantalizing Talk, Upscale Love. He's gonna come. He's a financial advisor, and I'm trying to make sure that all my people, all my DFGites, and all my Chocolate Pearl girls, and all my Apple fans come on and holla at your boy. Let him cook so he can do his thing and talk about finances. Let's talk about your finances. How are you doing today, Chocolate Pearl, my favorite girl?
Well, you know my situation where I wasn't working for 2 months because the company laid me off for the second time. So it kind of put me in a little financial bind. However, because God is a wonderful God, He still protect me, and somehow I still made it through with the grace of God and a few friends and family members who decided to bless me without asking to assist me in my finances. Also, I started to date a young, not young man, but I started to date a nice gentleman who I would call, instead of giving me a fish, he gave me a fishing pole and taught me how to fish. So with that, I was able to create or revamp the Real Golden Girls creation and start selling different products outside of my normal t-shirts and tumblers and stuff. So that's what helped me launch my, I guess, wellness and cosmetology, cosmetics situation where I'm doing body butters as well as sugar scrubs and linen and air sprays.
Yeah, I
So
still ain't get my order, young lady.
I I I I still have it because I have to find out how to package it because I don't because it's hot. If it was cold still, it'd have been fine because it wouldn't melt. I don't want it to melt in transit.
I got you.
So I have to figure out, I'm here in Jacksonville. I don't know where everything's at. So I have to figure out how to box it with maybe some dry ice or something because of the heat from Florida. Maybe in Virginia it's still cold, but here in Florida,
No, no, it's hot. Trust me, it's hot up here in the 571. But that's
yeah. So that's the only reason why I haven't sent it out. But I have it packaged. I just need to get it there in the same form that I created it in.
because I want to run. I'm gonna run your commercial again today.
Yeah, and we're gonna work on getting a better commercial.
Hey, that was just a quick
Um,
turn. That was a
well,
quick turn.
I know, and I appreciate it. I'm not complaining, but I'm saying we're working on getting a better commercial. I'm almost finished my small business class where I'm in a class to teach people how to create and build a small business. Actually, tomorrow is supposed to be a pitch day where we go in front of judges to who has straight connections to investors. Uh,
That's wonderful. That is really wonderful. It's glad as your business partner and your brother, not in that order, brother first. But, I'm glad that you were able to come on and do your thing, Chocolate Pearl. But without further ado, I want to introduce to y'all. His name is Darren, but we call him the distinguished brother. He's like no other. He's a financial consultant, and I want to talk to him about finances. So introduce yourself, Darren. Come on.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Darren, otherwise known as Distinguished Brother. I am from the GA. What I do is I talk to people about money. I try to educate people about ways that you can better utilize your money. And there are methods available that a lot of people just don't know about. And that's what I have been trying to spread around to get people to understand that you have to start thinking about money differently. You have to understand that money is a tool for you to use. And you also have to understand that you have to start from where you are right now.
Yes,
There's
I
no
agree. I definitely agree. So what got you into finance?
It was a couple of things that actually got me started. One was just the fact that I grew up in a poor neighborhood. I don't know how many people on here are original Atlanteans, but I grew up in an area called Perry Homes. And some of you on here may remember the missing and murdered children.
Yeah, 1979. No, yeah, 1979 through 81. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Well,
we were in
they
New York
found a body up there right outside of my school. So that, along with family and friends that had these old-fashioned 50-cent $1 policies, and when something happens, you really got nothing out of it.
Right.
Along with the fact that people just did not understand those tiny policies really did nothing but line the pockets of somebody else.
Yeah, they did a I don't know if you saw the movie with Tommy Lee Jones and Jamie Foxx. And
no, I didn't get a chance to see that one yet.
He played the lawyer from Florida, the ambulance chaser from Florida. And he went and sued a big insurance cemetery burial insurance company who were basically stealing money from a lot of poor people, and especially people of color. But I just want to ask you a question along that line. Why is it systematically that we as people of color, especially melanated, the black folks, and specifically, why do we have a hard time with financial literacy?
That is not an easy question, but I think part of the root cause is, and I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off, but you know me, crabism is the best way to say it. That crab mentality that has been inbred and inborn for the longest. You can't stand to see someone do better. That's number one. And then number two, it has been proven that when one of us has something, instead of all of us gravitating to that, we still think either the white man or some other race can do it better. And that is a big problem.
Malcolm X said the white man's ice is colder.
And that is a lie. Ice is ice.
No, I mean, but that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
About us.
People think that it's colder, that it's better, that it tastes different. Ice is ice. Water is water. Money is money. And instead of us as a people, well, I'm going to take that statement back slightly. There was a time that we as a people realized that we could do it on our own. But what did they do with those two towns? They bombed the hell out of them and burned them to the ground.
Yes. Oh, yes. Trust me. I'm well familiar with that. Actually, give me a second.
Okay.
Go ahead. Keep going. Keep talking. I'm just going to.
Yeah, I was going to say, and even as of today, right here in Georgia, a reminder of that is that they are opening a water park on what's called Lake Lanier.
Yeah, Oscarville in Forsyth County, 1912.
Exactly. Yeah. So when we realized what we could do and it was great, they took it away. But in today's society, I believe that mentality has been so ingrained that we're afraid to try again. A classic example is what I say to a lot of people, my friends and family, when I talk about money. Right here in Atlanta, we've got 6 or 7 celebrities I could name off the top of my head, and they make millions of dollars. There is no way you can tell me that if they came together, they could not buy a town, build a town, and make it a black Mecca. There's just no way that it cannot be done. You've got Magic Johnson that's already done it. You've got Tyler Perry that owns an entire movie studio.
Yes, he bought a US Army for it.
Exactly. You got Rick Ross that has car shows every year and owns a couple thousand acres, but they can't come together as one and stop the stupidity, the beefing, the I gotta have more than you have and you can't have what I have, and let's just bring this thing together. That's where a lot of problems come in. But bringing it down to a more, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say no, and that's you have a valid point. I don't know if you can see it in this on the screen on your screen, but I put up the example of what you was talking about with the destruction of financial literacy centers and financial centers, specifically for what Black people did. And as you can see, this is between 1900, about 35 years after slavery, to 1960. Now, I might not know anybody who's still alive from 1900, but I know plenty of people who are alive at 1960.
Exactly. Exactly.
So with that, my opinion, and I don't have, it's just from observation. It's not something that I can show some scientific studies. My opinion is that every time we try to get something together, we are the lowest ratings when it comes to getting business loans. We are we get the most denials in business. So, and even with people with money, we have a mistrust of each other because it's been implanted in us from way back, back to time we were property. Let me holler at my TikTok audience for a second. Hey, TikTok people, thank you for joining. Thank you, Mike Lowry, Tamara, Mimosa Runas,
Mike Lowry,
April Delgado, Janet, 1962, and Kitty 101. Thank y'all for coming on my show, DFG's Corner. The doctor is in. Go continue on, distinguished brother, or Chocolate Pearl.
Oh, wait, before you do that, I want to say something piggyback off of what you said. In my small business class, they actually said something similar to what you said about African Americans being the lowest race that are denied business loans, and then they were saying that how now that they're trying to kind of maneuver. So now, if you're a woman and you have this other quality and this other quality, but you happen to be Black, it actually gives you a chance to apply for something, but you have to go through different hoops to get it, and you have to qualify a certain way. So they kind of like try to put the Blackness in the back of it, but once they figure out you're Black, they make you jump hoops to get it.
Exactly, and it's the business version of redlining. It's the business version of redlining. And if nobody in my audience don't know, redlining was a policy that was carried out throughout the 1900s, and even in some way, even after the Fair Housing Act was passed in 1968, we still have some issues with it today. But the idea is that if you economically starve a neighborhood, you economically starve a town, you have issues with lingering effects. You starve people of their food, you starve them of their way to make money, then you basically keep them in a cycle of poverty. Now, a lot of times the media doesn't tell you this, but in terms of poverty, there are a lot more how can I say this? Creamy car.
There are a lot more white people in poverty and that are on food stamps and that are on government assistance than there are Black folks. Just say it.
Yeah. And it's a fact. It's a documented fact. I don't have the numbers, but it's a fact.
Yes. It is a fact. Yes. Just like this situation, I know this is a little off topic, but just like this situation with abortion, That wasn't meant. That was not meant for women in general. That was meant, and you can go find the media report online where one of our distinguished representatives, Miss Marjorie Green, basically said, "Thank you for saving us," because they know that they were doing it more than we were. So a lot of things that happen, even though we are concentrated upon, we are not the ones that are doing it or taking advantage of it the most.
Oh,
And
I
getting back,
agree.
getting back to
Right, and
finance,
they tend to stereotype us, and when they stereotype us, it makes it a mark to where they focus more on us than actually focusing on where the actual issues are.
issues and problems are.
Oh,
And
I definitely agree with that.
yeah, getting back to finance, though, a way to fix that is what I have been trying to do, and that's get the message out that people need to understand there are basically 4 pillars that you got to deal with: protection, debt elimination, money accumulation, and investing. And those 4 things can be done by anybody starting where you are right now. You've just got to understand that there are instruments available for you to use that you either don't know about or have not been explained to you. And that's where I come in. I just dealt with a client tonight where they thought everything was good. They had $150,000 of insurance. Oh, I'm straight. Life is fine. If something happens, we're okay. Do the math. If it's taking $40,000 to $50,000 a year for your house to run, you only have $150,000 of insurance. The mortuary, funeral home, however you want to call it, is going to do their best to get 25 out of you. Now you're down to 125. You already said it took 40,000 to run your house. So now you're down to whatever is left for 1 year, maybe 2.
Right.
That is no
Right.
money, people.
Right.
And not, doing that, and also understanding that the standard 401k, cafeteria plan, college saving plan, even most IRAs are not the way to go, because you're going to pay taxes on that money. You can't access the money until you're 59 and a half for most of them. And even if you do decide to take the money out early, you're going to lose about half of it.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that, DB, and explain to my audience why you would lose that type of money if you heavily if you heavily looked in those things, if you heavily use those things.
Well, here's an example. I talked to a lady tonight. She had $100,000, and instead of keeping our appointment, she thought she was being smart, went to the bank and invested it in a CD. So she finally called me. Well, her husband called. She didn't call. Her husband called me and told me because he was slightly pissed off. And I said, okay, you know me. I'm not a pushy salesperson. I just deal in facts. So let's deal with some facts. You got $100,000. First, it's a 12-month CD. So what does that say to you? You can't touch that money for 12 months, right?
Right.
Now, what is the interest rate? 5%. Okay. 5% of $100,000.
If they're lucky.
If they're lucky, true. So you got 5%, $100,000. You're going to make $5,000. That's something.
But the tax is going to take $3,500 of that, though.
Exactly. And that's what I had to place. Like, now, did you take into consideration the fact that you're going to lose about 30% of that when they get ready to tax you on this money? Well, no, I didn't think about that. Okay. Now, if you had taken that same $100,000, both of you got a properly structured insurance plan so that there's $1 million on each of you.
Right.
You have savings coming in that's completely tax-free, does not go through probate, which a lot of people also don't understand. When you drop dead, Probate kicks in the second notification is put in that you're dead.
And even if you have a will, it still has to go through probate.
It 9 times out of 10 will still go through probate. The only things that don't go through probate are insurance and annuities. And if you have a properly structured insurance plan that's paying you anywhere from 7 to 18% return, no taxes taken out, the money is liquid, so you can use it for any reason, be it a house, car, school, hell, you just want to go on vacation, so you take some money out to go on vacation. It's there for you. But most people, especially our people, have this mentality that life insurance only affects you when you die. And that is not the case. And again, if you get it properly structured, there are living benefits. One of the biggest bankrupting things in this country are health problems. Between diabetes, heart disease, accidents, most people in this country go bankrupt because they're trying to deal with health issues, either paying for medication, paying for services, whatever.
Yep.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was agreeing. I was just agreeing.
Oh, yeah. If you have that properly structured policy, there are living benefits where you can get $1 million while you're alive to help pay those expenses, to help cover those bills. Or if you happen to be lucky enough to live to 65 or 70, even if you want to go into an assisted living home or just get a condo somewhere, that money is there for you to pull out $60,000, $70,000 a year, tax free. We don't want to hit it.
But that's not what people. You are 100%. You're 100% right, DB. The issue is that we are so used to not having money.
Yes and no. We're used to not having money and such a lump sum and doing something with it. But I guarantee you, they'll still go out there buy that Gucci bag, them $500 tennis shoe, that gold crap that Trump put out for no good reason other than trying to pay his bills. Sorry, ladies, not trying to beat up on you, but you know, the $500 hairdos, the $300-400 nails. For men, they got to have the pants that hang off your butt, but you're paying $2,000 for them, or a big gold chain hanging around your neck. You want it all now instead of putting away, so that when that time comes and you want to sit down and do nothing, you can do it and live the life you want to live. And you don't have to wait to 65 if you do it right. I got some people that are doing it at 50 because they sacrifice to make sure that at 50, they can walk into their boss's office and say, you know what, I quit, deuces. And
Now,
never look back.
No, hey, you preaching to the choir. You preaching to the choir, DB. Quick break. Thank you for joining me on TikTok. I want to thank y'all. This is my first TikTok live. I'm also live on YouTube and Facebook. My info's in my address. Is the Dr. is in, the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, smooth as a Rolls Royce. Coming to you live from the 571, where I'm having fun and getting things done. I'm here with distinguished brother. He's my fellow co-host on Tantalizing Talk, Upscale Love for You, and we're talking money. And if you can hear, you understand that we as melanated folks have had a hard time dealing with money because we make it, we use it, but we spend more money trying to look rich than actually be rich. Than actually make those sacrifices and be rich. And another thing is, you can't save yourself to wealth. Saving helps stop the bleeding. It doesn't help you improve. So a brother like distinguished brother can talk to you about investments. He can talk to you about how to make your money work for you, because the difference between people with a lot of resources and little resources is that we have the same issues. You get a flat tire, the rich person gets a flat tire. Who has a better chance of getting it fixed quickly? The person with the resources. So always have your money work for you. Like, share, subscribe. Back to you, DB. I'm sorry.
No problem. You got to do what you got to do. This is your thing. You just got me on here as a guest. I can't complain about nothing. But one of the last things I wanted to point out is it's a statement that this gentleman made that I heard a while back. I personally would rather have a plastic bag with $5,000 in it than a Gucci bag with nothing in it. And that's the mentality that I wish more of us would adopt. It's not all about looking good. It's about being good. And if you really pay attention, when you see Bill Gates, when you see Bezos, the guy that's over Amazon, when you see a lot of these other celebrities out and about every day, not at an event, not at some show, but just out and about every day, they are the most bummy looking people on the planet because they know it's about what you have, not about what you look like.
Right.
Anybody can go in and take an hour to get their face beat and look gorgeous. But what do you have in that bank account?
I agree. Hey, that's what I'm saying. But we as Black people tend to wear it and show it. People with means tend to have it in their pocket. They look like they dress like they got $5 in their pocket, but they got $1 million in their pocket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they can do a lot more things than the average people like us do. But they don't have to go and looking at how we do things and how we get things done.
Yeah, one of my favorite actors, non-Black, would be Keanu Reeves. That man still rides public transportation.
Oh yeah. Well, people don't believe it's him though.
Yeah. You know, that man still rides public transportation and could probably buy the transportation company.
Oh yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
So the last thing I will say, unless you've got other questions, because I don't want to take up all your time.
Oh no,
you guys got any
it's
questions?
All about you, bro. It's
say
all
what
about
now?
you.
Oh, okay.
It's all about you. I'm trying to get these numbers up. I'm over 6,000. Yeah, I'm over 6,000 in YouTube.
Sweet.
I'm over 2,000 on this particular TikTok. I'm trying to get to 3,000 on TikTok. I'm trying to get to 10,000 by June in YouTube.
So you're gonna be the man monetizing the world then.
Hey, you gotta diversify your streams of income.
I agree.
But the question I had to you, okay, knowing that the average Black man makes about $46,000 a year,
mm-hmm.
with over half of Black men not having children and 7 out of 10 not being married, describe a decent financial path that a Black man can take to get to not rich, but comfortable. Yes. And they live in Atlanta, because I know Atlanta.
Okay. I mean, it's not, first of all, I have to say that you are limited in income, obviously, with $46,000, but it is doable. It's going to take discipline on your part. That being said, if this male individual, one, realizes you do not need a Dodge Charger with ground shaker or whatever all that other stuff is that comes on the car, go out here, get you a used vehicle where all of the depreciation is gone.
Right.
3 or 4 year old car still looks good. Nobody's going to know the difference but you. 2, get yourself a tax-free savings vehicle. It doesn't have to break you. You start from where you are. Make sure that you are putting that money away. 3, always try to look for something better. Understand that where you are does not have to be where you end up.
Right.
And
Right.
then lastly, best case scenario, find another brother that's making that same $46,000. Now, this may sound a little odd, but it works. Find that same brother making that same $46,000. Now, both of you come up with an idea that you can do together and start something small and simple. It may even require 3 or 4 of you moving into an apartment or a house that's 3 or 4 bedrooms deep. So everybody's got their own space, but now you're splitting the rent 4 ways so you can use the money to do other things and get more money flowing in. But each of you should be able to come together and do something. And if you're on your own, again, make sure you have those 4 things in place. Protection first for yourself and your health.
Right.
2, come up with a plan to get out of your debt, whether it's just setting aside, I don't have my display where I can put on here, but there is a display that I have where you can set aside $100 a month and start from the lowest debt that you have. Take that extra $100, pay it off. Now you may have $300. Take that $300, put it on the next debt, pay it off. Go on and on and on. And the way that this illustration shows is that somebody has $100 and some odd $1,000 house. Normally it's a 30-year mortgage, but
Right.
just by starting with that $100 and paying off all their other debts, they paid the house off in 17 years.
Yep. Yep.
So it can be done. It just requires discipline, and it requires you understanding, stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. Because as far as you know, the Joneses may look good, but when they go home, they probably living in a cardboard box.
Or they live in not even paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
They one time one
little bill
repair.
out of being put out.
And but you know what though? Unfortunately, in our community, that's what we do. Where with people like you, and hopefully through my show, I can help to educate people. I like to educate. I like to teach. Said I was a born teacher, but I need to make money.
That's the bottom line. We all got to make money. We got to do what we got to do. But if I can teach you along the way,
exactly,
that's good for me. I like helping people in that regard. Even something as simple, like in our neighborhood, we have a common garden area. Something as simple as that. Everybody come together, grow some food so you don't have to keep going to the grocery store.
Yeah, they better grow it now because Monsanto is trying to lock everything down with the GMO.
Grow some, raise some bees and raise some honey. Share food between the families. Everybody come together and start something simple. If it's nothing more than starting a simple daycare. People in your neighborhood, everybody works, and you still got children that are going to come home to empty houses or one house family. Come together, put a daycare together. One thing that I talk about, and I know it's a bit extreme, but it just pisses me off when I see it. Drug dealers. When you sit down and think about it, drug dealers are some of the most smartest, educated, organized people that you know. They know about distribution. Say what now?
The successful ones.
Yeah, the successful ones. They know about distribution. They know about money. They know about protection. They know about record keeping. If they would take those skills and instead of selling drugs, start a security company for a neighborhood. Let the neighborhood pay you to secure them instead of worrying about the police. There you go. Legitimate business. Everybody's contributing. The neighborhood knows each other. The police that are in the neighborhood, which are going to be former drug dealers, know everybody and who should be there and who shouldn't be there. That's a start.
Right.
That's a security company that you could build up.
I definitely agree with that. And the issue is that and it goes back to kind of how disjointed we are. Um, as we get older, I'm sure you're Gen X, or you're at least a late millennial.
Gen X, yeah.
The issue when we came up, there was a sense of community, but over the 80s and 90s and the aughts, it became more individual. What have you done for me lately? What have what can you do for me? It's not, we went from nosotros to Joe. So with that, we had a lot of issues with, like you said, not crabs in a barrel, but everybody wants to be at the same level. But we don't ever seem to realize that, a tide lifts all boats. Make sure the boat's repaired. If the boat is repaired, you can carry a lot more people than if you're in a leaky boat. And unfortunately, we got a lot of leaky boats.
All over the place.
I'm hoping that through social media, through other ways, town halls maybe, we can look at consolidating, liquidating, and creating our own, because other ethnicities can get loans in our neighborhoods. That's why you have Ak at the bodega. You got Mr. and Miss Kim at the at the hair salon. You got Mr. Lee, Mr. and Mrs. Lee at the Chinese restaurant.
Yep.
And you got Mr. and Mrs. Mercado running the local grocery store. And Mr. and Mrs. Patel got the hotels on lock. What do we have?
Nothing, because they won't come together to do it.
And the thing is that it's with finance. It is so easy to stop and hard to start.
It is. It will be very easy to do. Again, if people would just sit down with somebody like me or me directly, I could show you how to get started. And one other thing that I'd like to bring to people's attention: banking. You've got all these banks around here, but there's one bank that has been in Atlanta since before I was a kid. And that bank is called Citizens Trust Bank. Black owned and operated.
How long was it in existence?
Say what?
How long has it been in existence?
Since before I was born, I believe. Because I remember going to Citizens Trust Bank back when I was in elementary school. Still black owned and operated. Why aren't more of us with Citizens Trust Bank? There's a new bank now that Andrew Young, is it Pastor Troy, and somebody else? It's two music people and Andrew Young started a bank completely online. Why aren't more of us with that? There's a national black bank owned by a woman. Why aren't more of us with them instead of propping up Bank of America, which treats us wrong all the time? Wells Fargo, who's always in a lawsuit about something.
Well, they got lobbyists. There's nobody lobbying for us at the community level, and we've been taught to distrust our own because we always thinking they always trying to get over. We trying to get over on each other, and even if we have good, even when we have good intentions, a lot of stuff happens, and then we wind up not being where we need to be, or if we are, there's always that somebody or something that happens because we can't get too successful or else we'll attract attention, and we're taking money. Us being incarcerated, being poor, being uneducated is making somebody else rich. It's making somebody else rich. So if you wake too many people up at one time, you get a target put on your back. There's history behind it. That is not conjecture. That is not hyperbole. That is
No,
fact.
that is fact. That is fact.
That is fact. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your race, nationality is. If you start taking money out of people's pockets, they're gonna come get you. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try, but if they try to get this money, they're gonna come and get you. And that's not a bad thing, but we got to stop being scared of them and worry about getting us to the right place.
You just gave the answer. We have to stop being scared. Just like right here in my neighborhood, there's something called Black Wall Street. It is a bunch of Black entrepreneurs that got together, bought out an old building, and now they're doing business out of that old building to bring Black businesses to the forefront.
Right.
That's what we need more, because if enough of us come together, they can't do anything about it. They just can't. That's why those old towns were bombed and destroyed, because they couldn't do anything about it other than try to kill everybody. And back then, it was easier. Nowadays, not that. I don't see that happening. I see too many people fighting back.
Right, and that's what I can have a show about that on my TikTok channel. My TikTok people know, my TikTok family knows that I'm one of those that if I see some nonsense, I'm going to say something, and if I say something, I bring receipts. Mm-hmm. Now, does that win everybody over? No, but I try to stay fair. I try to keep the truth out there, because without, with the light of the truth, evil comes out. They scramble like roaches when the lights come on.
Mm-hmm.
So my big thing is that I want to have brothers like you and sisters that can talk this stuff, so we can get more education, because a lot of us, we want to be entertained, but we need to be educated, and
exactly.
that's why I wanted you on here, because you're bringing some good education. The biggest thing about that is, as far as if you're advising a bunch of people that we got our reparations. Every foundational Black American got the equivalent of $350,000 for things that happened over the years. We finally got our stuff repaired. I'm coming to you, DB. How should I make my money work for me?
There are a couple ways you can do that. One would be taking out a particular life insurance policy, as I stated before, so that you have coverage in place, you have living benefits in place, and you have tax-free savings in place. A second option, along with that insurance policy, would be to take out what's called an indexed or fixed annuity. That type of annuity for certain companies will get you anywhere from 10 to 30% bonus the first year. So if you max out the insurance policy, so that is giving you maximum returns at 7 to 13% tax-free, you then take whatever else is left and put it into this annuity that's going to give you a 10 to 30% bonus year one, and allow that money to grow for 5 to 10 years. Struggle along, do what you're doing, stay the same. Nobody got to know what you're doing. Keep the same old beater, stay in the same old house, do what you normally do. Nobody got to know anything about it. Come 10 years from now, when you have $500,000 to $1 million sitting there looking at you in the face, you can now say, I can do one of three things. I can let this money continue to grow until I just don't feel like working anymore, or B, take 50 to 60,000 a year out for the rest of my existence, still keeping my insurance, still keeping my investment going, and I can live on $60,000 a year tax-free income. Or 3, if you are okay with where you are, you continue to let that money grow. This is how the Rockefellers and other bankers have done it. Grandma and grandpa are now old. They have this $1 million, $2 million sitting around. They die. It is distributed to the children. The children have already started their own policy before grandma and grandpa died.
Right.
Now
right.
you have this trust that has, say, 2 million from grandma, 2 million from grandpa. Their children are still contributing to their own policies, their own savings, to build them up, so that when they decide we want to do this business, we want to buy this house, we want to buy this apartment complex, or do whatever, there are no banks involved.
Right.
There are no loan applications. There is no denial because you got the money. When that business does what it's supposed to do, and now the children of grandma and grandpa die, their money goes into those saving vehicles. The grandchildren have already started contributing their part to it. By the time the third generation gets there, who has to work?
No one, because the money's working for.
Exactly. The money's working for you. You start businesses, you buy properties, you rent properties, you do Airbnb, you do all this stuff. You start online bill pays. Who has to work? The money is still there working. The businesses are bringing in money. The investments bringing in money. You're living a good life, but you have to start somewhere.
I agree. I definitely agree.
One of the concepts that I've talked to somebody about a few days ago, they got 6 kids. All of them are grown. If each child contributes $500 to an insurance policy on grandma and grandpa, that's $2 to $3 million right there.
Right.
The money is growing within the policy at 7 to 8%, depending on how things are going. 20 years from now, there's about $500,000 sitting in there. Grandma and grandpa still here. Great. Grandma, grandpa, you got $100 million. I mean, you got $500,000. Take $100,000, go on vacation. Go do whatever you want to do. Live your life, enjoy, have a good time. When grandma and grandpa drop dead, that $1 million from grandpa, that $1 million from grandma. It's 5 kids. You spread it around. You reinvest it. Now you got an influx of $200,000-$300,000 that you can put into an annuity, giving you 30% return first year.
Right.
What are we talking about here? Not having money. What are you worried about now? Not having money. Your money's working for you. By the time you're 40 years old, you can decide what you want to do. Take that money out, put it into a business, let that business work while you're still working. People just have to change the way they think and change what they do. And it's not hard. It's just a matter of getting out of your own way. And that's what I try to educate people on. I show them how they can do that.
Oh, that's what's up, though.
By the third generation, you could have a whole family where nobody has to work because there's money working for you and businesses working for you. And all you're doing is managing the businesses. Definitely. My wife and I are working on that right now.
That's what's up. And that's, and there's a whole bunch of things that you can do. And I'm glad that there are people out there like you that want to educate and put out the business. And I'm glad I was able to have you on.
I'm glad to be here.
How can people
want to reach our people?
How can people get in contact with you?
They can reach out one of 2 ways. My email address is just my first and last name, which is Darren.Bazzell, Bazzell, @gmail.com. Or you can call and leave a message if I don't answer at 678-551-2098. And again, if I don't answer, that probably means I'm either on the call with somebody or doing something with the family, but I get back in touch with people within 24 hours. And as you guys have seen, I'm not a pushy salesperson. I'm going to hit you with the facts. Once I get you the facts and I show you where you are, it's up to you to decide what you're going to do. I'm working with someone right now. They are paying, well, you don't know who they are. So they're paying about $90 a month. They have an insurance policy that, one, they have no idea how long the policy lasts. All they know is a term policy. For what they're paying is probably a 5-year policy. What people don't realize is that when that policy is up, you have to get a new policy at your new age. So that price is going to jump.
Yeah. Before we go, could you give a quick overview on the difference between term life and whole life?
Sure. Real quick. Term life is life insurance. Point blank. In the conversation, that's all it is. You're insuring your life for a certain amount of time, and all that's going to come out of that is your beneficiary is going to get whatever the death benefit is, provided you die within that time frame. That's term insurance. No frills, no complicated anything. Whole life insurance. Now, that is a completely different animal in that there are different types of whole life. But the basic concept of whole life is not only are you paying insurance until age 100, which is why it's called whole life. Most people don't make it till age 100. You can also get cash value built up in that policy. Now, the drawback, in my personal opinion, of whole life is that it is expensive for what you get. Term insurance is good for certain situations. IULs are the best of both worlds. It is a policy that allows you to be insured for your life, but it gives you a better rate of return. It grows tax-free. You don't have to deal with probate. So there are a lot of benefits to it, and it can be designed to do what you want it to do, be it growth for college, growth for retirement, growth for business, or just to give you the coverage that you want. But those are the basic differences between whole life and term. Term is just straight insurance for a set number of time. Whole life is insurance that you purchase, quote unquote, for your whole life.
Right. That's what's going on, and I appreciate you, DB. Hey, this was a very good show, and I'm gonna ask you to come back maybe in a couple of months to keep it up, because I'm really excited about making sure we understand how money works and how to make our money work for us. I'm sure my TikTok crowd, my YouTube crowd, and my Facebook crowd would be glad to see that. I want to thank each and everybody for coming tonight. I'm going to close out with my favorite saying: "Never make love by the garden gate. Though love is blind, the neighbors ain't." Peace out. See y'all next
good night,
weekend.
everybody.
See you Thursday, DB.
All right. Have a good one, man.
Good night, all. Good night. Good night, everybody.